So here is Casey. Thank you for joining us. And you have approximately 35-ish minutes because it cuts me off. Otherwise, I talk for like 6 hours.
I'm going to talk really fast. And I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time. I'm going to jump into it because I think scarcity is something that is hot on all of our minds right now. It's really something, and you know, like she said, I've been in this business for 5 years. I have seen like when Canada came in and it was real hot, like it was easy to hit Success Club. And then I seen it completely, you know, plummet where it was really hard, and now we're coming back out of it. So I've been through all the trends. I've never missed Success Club. I don't believe in scarcity. I don't believe, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't believe that anyone has an advantage. I don't believe that any coach is better than any other coach, or that some even know more than others, because when I came into this business, we didn't even have a coach training on the web. Like a Beachbody did not have a new coach training. I had coach relations, and we all know how well that works. And I had Google, which is great, right? And I had YouTube. So I had to completely educate myself on this business. I did not have a ton of upline support from someone that was, you know, teaching me what to do. And the upline that I do work with joined 2 days before I did and knew less about network marketing than me. So we were like two kindergartners going on the first day of school, and it was like a complete disaster. So if I can do it, if I can succeed in this business with the tools that I had, anybody should be able to succeed in this business. So for those of you guys who don't know who I am, my name is Casey Lawrence. I am from small town Cranbrook, BC, Canada. There's about 20,000 people that live here. So I'm going to talk about that small town mentality as well. Yes, I am a founding Canadian coach. I got in November of 2012, and it has been the most beautiful, chaotic journey over the last 5 years that I could have ever imagined. But I do feel so, so blessed how I got into this business. I was a person that struggled my entire life with self-image stuff and self-confidence, and I hated the body that I was in. I felt uncomfortable all the time. I was like the yo-yo dieter that tried shakes, pills, like hydroxycut when that was a hot thing. I paid for an expensive trainer. I took prescription Dexedrine. If I took more than what I was actually prescribed to take, it like suppressed my appetite enough that I could live off cigarettes and coffee all day. And I got really thin. So it was like a constant battle my whole life that I went through. And after I had my daughter, I have two daughters, Brody Lynn and Carson. They're 5 and 7 months. My little one's 7 months old. But when I had Brody Lynn, I looked at her and was like, I can't do this. I can't do this to myself. I can't do this to my body anymore. I can't pass this on to her, this self-sabotage. And I also don't want her to think that it's okay to feel like this in her skin, right? As a mom, and I'm sure a lot of you are moms, I wanted her to look at me as a positive role model. And I wanted to pass good stuff onto her. So that's when I started with Turbo Fire. I lost like 40 pounds. Not about the weight loss, totally about the spirit that I gained, the energy, the love of life, the love of my body and myself, and confidence that I gained from it was the best thing that could have ever happened in my life. And I'm going to shorten my story because I don't want to talk too long. So that's kind of how I got introduced to Beachbody. The coaching side of it, I was at a point in my life when I got pregnant with Brody Lynn. I was living in my parents' basement, and I was working a job that was crazy hours. I actually owned the business. So moving forward, I wasn't able to work, 14 hours a day with clients. So that left me not working. And my boyfriend at the time was working like 13 hours on the weekends, making like $12 an hour. And that is how we started out parenting life. And then when Brody Lynn was 2 months old, my parents' house sold. So now I don't have an income. He barely has an income, and we are trying to move out on our own and, get our feet on the ground. And it was interesting, to say the least. It was hard. It was hard because I had a huge dream for myself. I had a huge vision for myself in my life of what my life was going to look like. And we ended up moving into a condo that I later found out was infested with black mold. The baseboards on it were all popped off and there was like mildew growing behind it. It was a horrible situation. And I remember sitting on my bedroom floor one day, and I had a Bible from when I was little that I was given for my birthday, and there was $20 in it. And I took that last $20 out of that Bible to buy groceries for my family. And at that point, I felt like my life was failed. I had failed my entire life. I felt like everything was falling apart. And I didn't have direction. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do at that point. And I looked at that little girl and was like, I promise, I swear to God, I will do anything to make your life better. I promise I'll fix this. I promise I'll get better. And that's when the Beachbody opportunity was introduced to me. I had no money. Like, I literally had to sell her clothes to be able to buy my first challenge pack, with Shakeology and everything, to sign up to become a coach, to be able to work this business. I didn't have a ton of money to invest in it. I was a new mom and I had to just run with it. And I didn't stop. My point of this is I didn't stop. When everything was working against me, I didn't stop. I seen a vision and I knew what I wanted and I knew what I was going to get out of this business, and I kept going. And trust me, you guys, over the last 5 years, I have gone through hell and back. I have gone through incredible personal hard stuff. I became a single mom. I had to learn how to be a single mom on my own with one income, which was Beachbody. That was my bread and butter. I have gone through loss. I went through moving 4 times. I moved. And it's been crazy. So talking kind of about the scarcity mindset, or talking about, it's hard when it gets hard, or, you're going through stuff. I went through stuff too, so I get it. And I'm here to tell you that you can do anything hard, and we can do hard things, you guys. And this business has given me such an incredible blessing, such an incredible blessing. I have been able to retire my spouse, do this full time, and now I get to sit here in front of you awesome people and tell my story, and that is the biggest blessing for me. So I have some slides for you guys. I'm going to try and share them. I am totally computer, so we'll see how it goes. All right, you guys see my slides? Then click play. There we go. I hope it doesn't just keep going through them. Okay, so I want to talk about what mindset are you, because this is actually can be a very, very big eye-opener, because I always believed that I was an abundant person. I was an abundant mindset, and I was always positive. And actually, when I started gut checking, and I do this every couple of months because I start to slip. It gets really, really easy to slide into this mindset. So this is the perfect gut check for you guys. And I want you to be real honest with yourself, and not what I want to hear, but if I actually could sneak peek into your life, what would I know to be true, right? So what mindset are you? Do you compliment or do you criticize? Those are opposites. That should be the other way around. So an abundant mindset would compliment somebody. A scarcity mindset would criticize people. Do you blame others for your failure, or do you take ownership of failure? Okay, so when something goes wrong, is it always somebody else's fault, or do you ask, what could I do differently in this situation? What did I do in this situation to get myself here for this to happen? Do I operate from a transactional perspective, or do I operate from a transformational perspective? So when I am going about stuff, is it what do I get out of this? What does Casey get out of this situation? What can I take from the situation? Or is it what can I give in this situation, right? Do you fear change, or do you embrace change? Do you read, or do you watch TV? Do you view effort as fruitless? So if you're doing something, you put so much work in, and then you don't get anything out of it, or you're like, boo, I lose, right? I lost. It was fruitless. I got nothing out of it. Or do you look at it as a path to greatness and say, everything that I have done in my life is a stepping stone to learn something new that I can go forward with? Do you feel threatened by competition, or do you learn and get inspired by your competition? And that one is a really, really tricky that you have to catch yourself every single day in this business, because it's very easy to start comparing yourself. And I fall into that trap if I'm not very careful. Do you see, when you look at the business or when you look at your social media, do you see how many coaches there already are in the business, or how everybody's already working with a coach? Or do you see that there is a ton of lives out there that need help? And let me tell you, there is not a ton of coaches. There is a ton of shitty coaches. That's what there is, right? So there is not a ton of coaches like you guys on this call who show up, who do the work, who show up for their fitness and their health and do this thing seriously. There's a lot of coaches that come into it to make a fast buck, and they drop off real fast. So what is perceived as a ton of coaches, but there's not enough good coaches out there. Do you complain, or do you offer up ideas and ask for input? So when you go into the coach page, your coach page, do you enter with, this is what's wrong, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what's not working, this is why the business sucks, Facebook changed their algorithm again? Or do you go into it and say, hey, this is what I'm going through. You know, I want to do a Zoom with a couple of you guys and throw some ideas around. Can we do that? Right? Do you see the difference? Scarcity just complains like the freaking world is going to come to an end. And an abundant mindset, they still go through stuff, but they come into it with a mindset of, how can I help? How can I serve? How can we as a team be better? Okay. And someone with a scarcity mindset will say, that's just the way that it is. Well, that's just the way that it is. Instead of coming in and saying, I need to change something. This is, you know, everything that happens in my life is is a result of what I'm doing. Okay. So ask yourself that, which list do I fall into? And I will be transparent and honest and say that there is definitely times where I start flying way off into the left, and I need to check myself and mentally make that change to make sure that I'm following an abundant mindset, okay? So what you think about, you guys, will always expand. If you think that Facebook is hard, it's gonna get harder for you. If you think that it's easy, the universe will bring you really fantastic ways of working with it. If you think that there isn't enough people out there, you're not going to be able to find enough people. And the person who is abundant and saying, you know what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's hard. There's people that need my help, and I'm going to go find them, right? So always checking what's between your ears and asking yourself, if this 10x'd right now, where would I be? If this thought that I'm having in my head right now starts to breed itself really, really, really fast, am I going to be happy with where I'm sitting in 10 minutes from now? And if it's not, change it. That's what's really cool about the mind, you guys. It's yours. You own it. You get to think whatever you want at any point. So change it, right? So I want you guys to rate yourself in these 4 situations. Scenario number 1, someone signs up after you, or someone in your downline explodes their business. They bypass you. They leave you in the dirt. Do you get stuck in a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset, right? Do you say, boo, it's because they know more than me, because I have a better upline coach, because they have more time, because I have more money? Or do you say, it's because I did not apply myself hard enough? I spent too much time on TV when that person was working harder, right? Scenario number 2, Facebook changes its algorithm or something else, and you can no longer post anything but video with no sound. Do you completely freak out and quit as a coach, go into your team page and like, oh my God, this business is gonna crumble. Everything is coming to an end because Facebook is changing it. It's not the same thing it was before. Or do you say, not a big deal. We're just gonna take on the whole mind thing, and I'm gonna come up with really cool ways to work with the changes as they go. Do you work with your team? Do you team up with somebody, right? What would you do in that situation? Like your first thought, like, what is it when you jump on it? Number 3, It's 8 p.m. on the 31st of the month and you're not at Success Club and you're pushing for Success Club All-Star, or we're going into Team Cup month, right? You're sitting there right now and you're at Success Club 4. Are you going to follow the scarcity mindset and go, oh, well, I guess I'll get it next month. August is going to be awesome. Or do you have an abundant mindset and know what your goals are? And are you crystal freaking clear on what it's going to feel like when you hit that goal? And you go and you run and you don't stop until cutoff, right? Scenario number 4. You drop diamond 1 week before finishing for 2-star qualifying. You dropped diamond 1 week before finishing your 2-star qualifying. So you worked really hard. You and your team, you pushed and you pushed and you pushed to get to 2-star. And then that final week, somebody drops. Do you look at that situation and do you look at that coach that dropped and say, you weren't able to hold diamond, so, and you don't have to say it to them, but just say it in your head and it's still gonna expand, okay? Do you look at that person and say, you didn't try hard enough, you let your diamond drop, now Casey lost 2-star in the bonus and that stinks? Or do I immediately look at myself and say, what could I have done differently in this situation? Could I have had another person lined up for diamond? Could I have done more Zoom chats with that person? Where did I let it slip, okay? And the reason I gave you guys these 4 scenarios is because these are all things that have happened to me in my business, okay? These are all realistic scenarios where you have to decide, am I going to allow myself to have the scarcity mindset, let my business crumble, and Casey is no longer a coach, non-existent. My business sucks. I have to go back and get a job and I don't get to spend my time with my kids. Or do I have an abundant mindset and say, it doesn't matter. We move forward. We push forward. We evolve. We get better, right? So after rating yourself in those 4 situations, I'm going to give you guys some ideas on how you can actually shift your mindset. So whether you say you can do it or whether you say you can't do it, you're totally right. You're totally 110% right in this business. So it's up to you. You either say, you know what, I can do this. I can do this no matter how hard it gets, no matter how awkward it is, no matter how crazy it is, I can do it. Or you can say I can't, and you're totally right. You're totally right. And you'll end up one of those statistic coaches where there's just not enough good coaches out there and you fail at this business, right? So here's 7 steps to crushing a scarcity mindset, because no matter how hard we try, there's going to be times where we're faced with those challenges in this business and in life, in our relationships, anything. Okay, so this can kind of apply to your whole life, not just coaching. So the first thing is, instead of viewing it as a permanent solution, view it as an adventure. So yes, stuff in your life is going to change and it's going to get hard and you're being tested, right? So you get to decide what you want to do with it. Facebook changing? Facebook changes, you guys. That's social media. Get a grip, grow up. It's not a big deal, right? It's not a permanent situation. Your Facebook changing is not a permanent situation unless you allow it to be. Is that your reality? No. View it as an adventure. How can I evolve? How can I change? How can I make this business more fun? And let me tell you, any other business that you go to in 30 years from now, you're still going to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and it's not going to be fun. This business is fun. It changes, you meet new people, you get to scare the pants off yourself, and it's a ton of fun. So view it as an adventure instead of a permanent solution. I promise you'll get through it and you won't die. It's really not that bad. We're all really, really dramatic people. The second thing is use words and thoughts of abundance. So instead of looking at it like, I can't do this, tell yourself the reasons that you are unique and you can do it. Instead of saying that this is hard, tell yourself that it's easy and why all of the reasons that this is actually a really, really easy business. Instead of saying, I'm not smart enough, go on YouTube and do some training. Learn, 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 learn. Stay a student, right? You are smart enough and you are good enough. So using thoughts and words of abundance. Number 3, lose the envy and focus on gratitude. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 36. Don't sit there on this call and say, I can't do what she did, because I didn't get in at the right time, or because I don't have enough upline support, or because I don't have enough training, or because I don't know enough people on my Facebook yet. Don't focus on that. Focus on being grateful that you get to be here tonight with this incredible group of people who have your back no matter what. I can guarantee any one of these people on this call would have your back if you were going through something. And for that, I am extremely grateful. And when I see Ellie doing crazy things and hitting crazy Success Club numbers, I'm grateful that I have her in my life, that she is paving the way to show us what is possible. I don't sit there and mope because Casey's not at Success Club 100, so I suck, right? Give generously. And I do truly believe in this, you guys. The more you give in this business, the more you're going to get out of it. So try giving to your audience, try giving to your clients, try giving to your team more than you expect to get out of this business. Let go of your expectations. You know, I'm so mad. I've been in this business for 2 years and I'm not making $1,000 a week. Instead of thinking about all of the incredible things that have happened to you in this business. Giving generously also means don't tell me that your free group didn't work because you didn't sign up everybody as a coach. It doesn't work that way. So what I try to do is I try to give 110% of myself in that group and give as generously as possible without expectation of anything out of those people. It allows me to release myself of failure, but it also shows that I am there to help people and that I'm not just trying to sign a ton of people up, right? So it's extremely important that you give and give and give, and you will get it back if you let go of all expectation. Number 5, stop wasting your freaking time. You guys, if you're trying to build a business, get the hell off your timeline. Get off your Instagram. Like, what do you mean? I don't care that Grey's Anatomy is on tonight. We are building a legacy. We are building a dream. And if that is more important to you, then you need to get your priorities straight. Stop wasting time. When I came into this business, I was a brand new mom. I became a single mom in a house that I had to learn how to become a single mom. I was working part-time. I had to go back to work to, try and make this thing work. It was crazy. It was crazy. I had no time for myself. Dishes didn't get done. Laundry didn't get done. I stayed up way crazy later than I should have, and I was up in the morning, not wasting time. I was building a dream, okay? Set goals for yourself, you guys, and I'm talking big goals. Not that you want to get to diamond by the end of the year. That's ridiculous. Set big, scary goals for yourself, because you know what? You're going to want to quit. There's going to be times in this business where you want to quit, and it would be easy. The ones that have the big goals and they have the vision and they know exactly what they want out of this business are the ones that will keep going because we don't quit. And you know why? Because there's people out there that need you. There's people, this is so much bigger than just you, okay? People need you and your spirit and what you have to offer. So set those goals really big and get excited. And number 7 is be prepared to evolve. Don't think that in 6 months from now, free groups and freemiums will be working like they are right now. Don't be offended when something changes. You have to be prepared and be excited, understanding that everything has a season. Everything has to change. Otherwise, it would always just stay the same. And that's boring. I didn't come into this business for that, right? The gift the universe gives to us is your potential. The gift that the universe gave me is my potential. And the only thing that I can do to say thank you is give my potential back, right? I need to give my potential back instead of wasting it, okay? So those are 7 things that you can do. So numbers don't lie, you guys. There's 323 million Americans. 36 million Canadians. We're not even talking about the US yet, you guys, because who cares? It doesn't matter. We're not launched there yet, okay? More than 2/3 of the US are considered overweight. Hello? That means they need me. More than 1/3 of adults in the US are considered obese. You know what that means? They're sick. They are getting sicker. They have crazy amounts of disease, and they're passing that on to their kids. And we know that because kids 12 to 19, 20% of them are considered overweight or obese. 6-year-olds, people in kindergarten, my daughter's age, 17% of them are obese, right? Annual medical costs are going up to, you know, I don't even know, $147 billion, and they can't afford a $100 challenge pack? Give me a freaking break. Give me a break. That is a scarcity mindset that they honestly think that they can't afford it. They can, but they're afraid. They're afraid of failure, and I didn't do a good enough job if I keep getting that objection over again of instilling trust in that person, okay? I'm going to move through this really quick because we're going to run out of time. 117 million individuals have preventable chronic disease. You guys, there is not scarcity. This business is not, there's not too many coaches. It's overdone. There's too many coaches, not enough customers. Are you freaking kidding me? Because if we were doing our job properly, these numbers would not exist, and we have the answer. I have the answer. You have the answer. Stop depriving people of the life that they deserve to live. Okay? You have the answer to that problem. So the adaptation mindset. So yeah, change is going to happen. I don't want you guys to be afraid of change because change is fun, but there's definitely two types of people. There's the person who kind of tucks into their turtle shell and decides that this business is too hard and they don't want to put in the effort, or they just bitch and complain over and over and over and over again, and that's what they're attracting. Or there's a person who adapts like this every time, and it's hard, but we do it. Selling is a transfer of belief and trust. So when I started in this business, it was really, really easy for me to post a before and after picture, and everyone's like, oh, what are you doing? You look amazing. Sign me up, right? Or I could post about Beachbody and nobody knew what it was. I have gone through seasons of change because now I can't do that. And I had to figure it out, right? It's so different now. Now what is working? So I'll tell you what's not working. Posting pictures of you with your Shakeology, that doesn't work, okay? Yeah, you holding your discs or your computer like this, Beachbody on demand, it doesn't work. It's annoying. Everybody's doing it, right? But what does work is a transfer of belief and trust. So go to your page and ask myself this: am I being vulnerable? Am I being vulnerable? Am I telling the truth? Am I telling my whole story? Or am I telling Beachbody's story? Am I telling their story? Because nobody gives a shit about that. People need to decide. People need the opportunity to decide, do they know me? Do they love me? And do they trust me? And there will be people who don't, and I don't care. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to my tribe right now. Do they know me? Have I given them the opportunity to get to know me through my story and through being vulnerable and through telling the hard stuff, right? Do they decide if they love me or not? Have I told them enough about myself to decide if they like me? And do they trust that I'm going to be here in 6 months, in a year? Am I following the program? Am I showing my results? Am I doing it properly, right? Do they trust that these programs work? And would you believe in you? If you went through your timeline right now, would you trust you with your 160 bucks? Would you trust you with your time? Okay. I don't want to be sold. I don't want to be sold. And if I get added to one more freaking lip gloss group, I'm going to jam my own eyes straight out of my head because it's rude. I feel like I'm trying to be sold something. There's no value in it. And trust me, I'm not buying your lip gloss. I'm leaving your group. Okay. What I do want is value. I want value, value, value. I want an ebook that tells me how to eat and has some wicked recipes in it for me and my family. I want free groups that has value, that I learn something, and in the course of 2 weeks, maybe I lose 5 pounds. Hell yeah, I'm going to join your group. If you're getting me a 5-pound weight loss in 2 weeks, I wonder what her actual group is like, right? Freemiums, and give them your heart. So I'm always adding value. I give them time. Time is a currency worth nothing else. Okay, it doesn't matter. Your time is more valuable than you would ever believe, okay? So doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is a definition of insanity. So adapt, try things new. You will fail. You will fail, 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 but it's failing forward, and it's a beautiful thing, and you will learn so much about yourself out of it. So just ask yourself, am I being valuable? Am I adding value to this person's life? So here's a little bit of homework for you guys. Look, I did it. Okay. Write down 5 things that set your soul on fire. What makes me feel alive about this business? What excites me? What gets me up in the morning? What makes me so beyond excited? Okay, write down 5 things. And it doesn't have to just be about this business. It's anything in your life, anything that makes you feel alive. Now share these things loudly with everybody who needs to hear it from you. The world needs more people like you and your unique awesomeness. Share that 3 to 5 times a day. Everything about you so that I can get to know you. And then number 3, how can I give back in these areas? Do I have something that I can offer? Do I have value that I can offer in these areas for people? And then write down 3 things that are holding you back from being outrageously amazing. And then beside each one, write down the reasons that is complete bullshit. Because that's what it is. You are the one holding you back from succeeding and reaching those goals, okay? So bring back the joy so that doubt has no room to enter. No room. That's it. That's it. How do I stop sharing?
You are amazing.
I did it in another 30 minutes.
That was insane. I know, right?
Talking so
I
fast.
know my phone has been blowing up. All my diamonds have messaged me. It's just so fantastic. We are, I have goosebumps about everything you said, especially my favorite parts, and I'm going to use this again, Casey, and I'll give you credit for it when I do, but it's, no, there are not enough crappy coaches. Like there's too many coaches and there's too many crap coaches. How many people do you take over weekly who come to you and they're like, no, I don't have a coach, she's dead.